Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome. And welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, today on the Ryan Awesome Show, I'll be talking about AEW Dynamite for December 9th, 2020. Now, this show, AEW Dynamite, last night, it was a stacked show. It was a stacked show, but it was still a good show, but it was stacked. So yeah, first off, we had Sting, Sting speaking for the first time in AEW. We had the Inner Circle Ultimatum. We had the finals. We had the finals of the Dynamite Diamond Ring. So whoever won would be the Dynamite will hold the Dynamite ring. If MJF won, he retains. If Orange Cassidy wins, he's the new holder of the Dynamite ring. And yeah, we had all this stuff happen in this show. I'm gonna go over it. So so yeah, first off, we started off the show with a tag team match. It was TH2, Jack Evans and Angelico versus the Young Bucks, the AEW Tag Team Champions, Matt and Nick Jackson. So yeah, we started off this match with a double drop kick to TH2 from the Bucks. We got an outside double spear to TH2, so they fighting outside of the ring, and they give TH2 a spear. We had a springboard arm drag to Angelico from Nick Jackson. We had a top rope moonsault to Nick Jackson from Jack Evans onto the outside of the ring. We had an assisted foot stomp to Matt Jackson from Jack Evans. And we had a super kick. We had a super kick to Evans from Nick Jackson, followed up by a roundhouse kick from Nick, well, to Nick from Angelico. So yeah, they're going back and forth, both of these teams. And we had a running bulldog combo, running bulldog clothesline combination that Nick Jackson does. He did that to TH2. We had a springboard facebuster to Angelico from Nick Jackson, and Angelico kicks out. We had a power bomb. So yeah, during this match, the Acclaim, the team that the Young Bucks have a problem with, they were sitting in the crowd, and Matt Jackson he grabs Jack Evans, and he power bombs Jack Evans into the crowd onto the Acclaim, and so the Acclaim are taken out. And then we had a 450 splash from Jack Evans to Matt Jackson, and Matt kicks out. And we had a doomsday device from the Young Bucks to Jack Evans on the outside of the ring. And man, when they hit that doomsday device on Jack Evans, man, Jack Evans he landed hard, man. It looked like he landed on his neck, but he Jack Evans did not look good. He did not look good after that. And so we had a double super kick, super kicks to Angelico from the Bucks. And Angelico kicks out. And we had a more bang for your buck by the Young Bucks, and TSU they blocked it. They blocked the more bang for your buck by getting the knees up. And we had a poison Rana from Jack Evans to Matt Jackson, followed up by a 450 splash off of the ring apron to the ground on the outside of the ring to Nick Jackson. And while that happened, well, right after that happened, we had a Navarro death roll to Matt Jackson from Angelico, and Nick he breaks it up with a senton bomb. I would have much rather him break it up, like go in there and just step on the dude, like break it up like that instead of just breaking it up with a senton bomb. But yeah, he broke it up with a senton bomb. And so yeah, Evans he goes for a top rope splash on the outside. It looked like a top rope spinning move from the ring to the outside of the ring. And so Matt he catches Jack Evans. So he ran and he caught Jack Evans. And the Bucks they went for the Indy Taker to the outside of the ring. And so they went for the Indy Taker, and when they gave the move, Matt Jackson his leg act up, his ankle act up. So yeah, he still had that bum ankle, and it's messing with him. It's messing with him right now. And so right after this, we had stereo super kicks to the Bucks, follow up by a BTE trigger to the Angelico to win. So the Young Bucks win. Great match between these two teams. The back and forth between these two teams. Oh yeah, and another thing, the stipulation of this match was if TH2 can beat the Young Bucks, then they will get a title opportunity, a tag team championship opportunity against the Bucks. So yeah, TH2 didn't win, so they didn't get an opportunity. And so yeah, right after the match, we had the Acclaim. The Acclaim, they try to sneak attack. They try to sneak attack the Bucks, and we had SCU, Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels. They chased off the Acclaim, and so I think they scheduled it for next week. They scheduled a match for next week between the Acclaim, Max Caster, and Anthony Bowens versus SCU, Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. So yeah, that's next week. And so yeah, next we had MJF. He's in the back. He speaks. So yeah, he's with Wardlow and he speaks. And so MJF, he says he's not a fan of Orange Cassidy. He thinks that Orange Cassidy is a mockery to the wrestling business. And so MJF, he says that he's gonna upset some not so smart marks when he bashed Cassidy's brains in and retain the diamond ring. And then MJF, he says, because I'm better than you and you know it. And that was it. So MJF basically saying he's gonna beat the hell out of this guy later on tonight and retain his ring. And so right after this, we had Darby Allin. We had a vignette from Darby Allin, and he said, yeah, Darby Allin, he was sitting. It was him and another person that was sitting. They were sitting like they were sitting at a table, right? And you had one guy. He was sitting across the table from Darby Allin, and he was showing him pictures. And the guy, he was saying, I'm gonna show you pictures, and you're gonna tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. And so we had our first picture, we had our first drawing, and Darby Allin, he saw Ricky Starks, and he says that Ricky Starks is a wolf in a sheep's. He said he's a wolf in a sheep's clothing. And then we had a second picture from the guy shows Darby Allin the second picture, and it was a drawing of Will Hobbs, and Darby says that Hobbs is a snake in the grass. And we had a third picture. The guy shows Darby Allin the third picture, a drawing of Brian Cage. Yeah, Darby, he sees Brian Cage in his drawing, and he calls Brian Cage a puppet. But Darby says he also sees the number one contender, and the same man who tried to end his career. Darby says you can say that this is 6 months in the making, but the reality is it's more like 27 years, because I've dealt with shit my entire life with people like this. Darby says that Cage has beaten him, but he never beaten him alone. So it's going to be Darby Allin versus Brian Cage for the TNT Championship one-on-one. And then the guy shows Darby Allin the fourth picture. He says, the guy says, what about this picture? What do you see in this picture? And Darby Allin, he didn't say nothing. He said nothing. All he did was smile and he laughed, and that was it. Yeah, something could be going on between these two. Something is going on between Darby Allin and Sting. And so yeah, speaking of Sting, first off, we had Cody Rhodes. We had Cody Rhodes dressed up in his suit, coming out with Arn Anderson. We had Tony Schiavone in the middle of the ring. And yeah, Tony Schiavone, he asked Cody Rhodes about his reaction to Sting last week. And so before Cody could speak, before Cody says a word, the lights cut off. The lights cut off, and music plays, and then Sting comes out, and Sting, he walks to the ring, and then Arn Anderson, he had a microphone too. He walked up to Sting, and he says that I know you two have an agenda, and for right now, I'm gonna see my way out of this ring. And so Arn Anderson, he walks out of the ring. He leaves, and then Tony Schiavone, he tries to leave. He says, you know what, I'm gonna leave too. And Sting stops him. Sting stops Tony Schiavone. And Sting, he wanted a hug. He wanted to hug Tony Schiavone. and yeah, they hugged, and he wanted He wanted Tony Schiavone to say that his catchphrase in WCW, his line in WCW, it's Sting. I don't even know if I did it right, but Tony Schiavone, he said it's Sting. He yelled out it's Sting last week, and he yelled out it's Sting this week because Sting, he wanted him to say it, and Tony Schiavone, he said it, and then right after he said it, Tony leaves the ring, and so Cody, he tells Sting, "Welcome back," and he thanks Sting on his assist last week against Team Taz. Team Taz. And so Cody Rhodes, he tells Sting that he's been waiting to share a ring with him for a very long time. He's been waiting to share a ring with him for a very long time. And so Sting, he tells Cody, I'm not here for you. At least not right now. And he says there is something that makes me feel at home in this place. There's something really familiar about it. And so he points to the crowd. He points where Darby Allin was sitting at. He was sitting in the crowd. So he points in the crowd, and he saw a picture of Darby Allin holding the TNT Championship. And Sting, he says that AEW is the jungle, and the Stinger has come full circle. The Stinger is in the jungle and is on TNT once again. And so Cody, he says to Sting, like I said, sir, welcome back. And Sting, he says the only thing for sure about Sting is nothing for sure. He says the only thing for sure about Sting is nothing's for sure. Except this thing says, no, hold on, I got it mixed up. So yeah, he says the only thing for sure about Sting is nothing's for sure. Except this. And then he goes on to say that he is officially signed with AEW, and he plans on being close with the AEW fans and in the promotion for a long time, and plans on spending a lot of time in AEW. The way I choose to play is my business. And he put his hands right over Cody Rhodes. He pats him on the back, and he rubs his forehead onto Cody's forehead. So the paint got on Cody's forehead. Cody wipes it away. And Sting, he tells Cody, "See you around, kid." And that was it. I was like, that was it? And so, yeah, he was supposed to, his reason on being here, like he was gonna tell us about his future in AEW. We didn't get none of that. And they even mentioned that on commentary. We still haven't gotten a reason on why he's here. What's his purpose of being in AEW? So, yeah, that tonight was supposed to be the night that he was gonna explain that, but we didn't get that. And so maybe they have something planned, and I guess I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. And yeah, that was the same thing with the Kenny Omega thing. The same thing with the Kenny Omega situation. We didn't get anything from that. But I'm gonna get into that later in a little bit. And so yeah, right after this we had Team Taz. Taz, Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, Will Hobbs, with Taz's son, Hook, who was standing side by side with Team Taz. And so Taz is upset that Tony Khan brought Sting in to protect Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin. And so Ricky Starks, he tells Cody Rhodes that Hook, his former student, is now training with Team Taz at the dojo with Ricky Starks, Cage, and Will Hobbs. And so Taz, he says, my men are always ready to beat somebody's ass. And then Brian Cage, he says, who better? And that was it. And yeah, so Team Taz, they're involved in this. I don't know what they're gonna do with Sting. What do they have to do with Sting? Well, I don't know either. I don't know either, man. But well, yeah. So yeah, right after this, we had the Varsity Blondes, Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. versus FTR, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, with Tully Blanchard in their corner. And so we had a back elbow to Pillman Jr. from Harwood, a snap suplex to Pillman Jr. from Harwood. We had a crossbody to FTR from Pillman Jr. So Pillman Jr. is fighting back, and we had a swinging. So we had a swinging neck breaker to Cash Wheeler from Pillman Jr. followed up by a leg drop from Griff Garrison. So they're double teaming FTR, and we had a double suplex to the rope on Pillman Jr. from FTR. We had an assisted backdrop diving elbow combination. That was really cool. And we had a power bomb. We had a power bomb to Pillman Jr. from Dax Harwood. And at one point, Tully Blanchard he gets involved in this match. And so while they're fighting outside the ring, we had Tully Blanchard. He gives Pillman Jr. a chop, a knife edge chop. And so we had a hot tag to Griff Garrison. Griff Garrison getting his stuff in. He delivered clotheslines, elbow strikes, and he had a double spear onto FTR, followed up by big boots. And we had Pillman Jr. get hit with a brainbuster by Dax Harwood. And right after that, we had a Goodnight Express, aka the Shatter Machine. I like the Shatter Machine name better than the Goodnight Express, to Pillman Jr. for the win. So FTR, they beat the Varsity Blondes, and right after the match, they were celebrating. They got outside the ring, and they had a confrontation with Jurassic Express, and so they pushing and shoving each other. I think they pushed Marco Stunt, and they walked away, and that was it. So we might see a match between Jurassic Express and FTR. That should be really good. That should be really good. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy versus FTR, man. Man, take my money, man. And so yeah, right after this we had Alex Marvez. He interviews Adam Hangman Page, and he tells Page that he's in a 6-man tag team match next week on Dynamite against Matt Hardy and Private Party, because Matt Hardy he eliminated Adam Hangman Page last week in the Battle Royale and Private Party. So it's gonna be. So yeah, it's Adam Hangman Page. He's gonna be in a 6-man tag team match against Private Party and Matt Hardy, but he doesn't have any partners. He tells Hangman Page, Alex Marvez did. He tells Page that you don't have any partners. And so yeah, they were at a bar. They were talking, and so out of nowhere, man, John Silver and Alex Reynolds they show up behind the bar counter, and they were wearing cowboy hats, and they were goofing around saying that, you know, we heard that you needed a partner, you needed partners and stuff, and so they wanted to team up with Page. And so first Page he said no, I will not team up with you guys. And so Alex Reynolds, he tells Page, who else is gonna want to team up with you? And I was thinking in my head FTR, and so yeah, we did get FTR, but yeah, Adam Hangman Page he agreed to team up with Alex Reynolds and John Silver, and he says that it's only for one night only. It's only a one-off. I'm only team up with you guys for one night only, and I'm not gonna join the Dark Order. I'm only teaming up with you guys for one night only, and that's it. And so yeah, that's the match for next week. Hangman Adam Page, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds versus Matt Hardy and Private Party next week in the 6-man tag. So this should be good. And so right after this, speaking of the Dark Order, we had number 10 representing the Dark Order versus Dustin Rhodes with Lee Johnson in his corner of the Nightmare Family. And so yeah, this match wasn't very long. First we had 10. He was overpowering Dustin Rhodes, and Dustin he fights back with uppercuts. And we had number 10. He had a beautiful spine buster on Dustin Rhodes. And then we had a pump kick. We had a pump kick to Dustin Rhodes from number 10 to knock Rhodes out of the ring. And then yeah, they were walking. So yeah, Dustin Rhodes he was walking around the ring. He was trying to get back into the ring, and then 10 he wasn't chasing after Dustin Rhodes. He was walking. He was walking right after Dustin Rhodes. And as he was walking after him, you had Aaron Solo from the crowd. Aaron Solo, he grabs number 10. He grabs number 10 from behind, and just like grabs him. He just grabs him from behind. Number 10 turns around and pumps kick Aaron Solo. I don't know. I do not know what that was about. Did something happen on Dark, on AEW Dark? I don't know, but I don't know why Aaron Solo was getting into it with number 10. And so yeah, and so right after this we had a running bulldog to number 10 from Dustin Rhodes to win. So Dustin Rhodes wins, and then right after the match, Evil Uno and the Dark Order, they came out to the ring. And so yeah, Evil Uno he tries to get Dustin Rhodes to join the Dark Order, just like what he did with Adam Hangman Page. He tried to get Adam Hangman Page to join the Dark Order. He tried to do the same thing with Dustin Rhodes. And so yeah, Evil Uno he says your legacy has gone through 5 generations. Your name comes with pressure. In fact, you are the 3rd most important Rhodes. And yeah, Dustin Rhodes he takes offense to that. And so Evil Uno he continues to say, "Will you take your rightful place as seven, as 7 of the Dark Order?" When Evil Uno said that, when he said, "Will you take your rightful place as 7 in the Dark Order?" I laughed. I laughed out loud because for most of you guys that watched WCW back in the day, Seven was a character that almost ruined Dustin Rhodes' career by portraying that gimmick. It was a terrible gimmick. And so Tony Schiavone on commentary he says, he doesn't want to be that number. Like, yeah, he doesn't. And so Evil Uno he says to Dustin Rhodes, "What do you say? 7?" And he calls him 7. And Evil Uno he tries to get Dustin Rhodes to do the Dark Order hand, the Dark Order pose. And Dustin Rhodes he gets his hand, and he slaps Evil Uno. He slaps Evil Uno to the ground. And the Dark Order they try to attack Dustin Rhodes, and Evil Uno he held them off. He was like, no, hold up, don't attack him. And Evil Uno he tells Dustin Rhodes, when you see the light, when you understand what I understand, you'll come begging for it. And that was it. So yeah, the Dark Order they're doing a lot of recruiting, man. My question is, man, where is Brody Lee, man? I miss Brody Lee. Where is Brody Lee? From what I heard, he was hurt. But man, I miss Brody Lee. I miss him. And so yeah, right after this we had Tony Schiavone. He interviews Shaquille O'Neal and Brandi Rhodes. And so Tony Schiavone he was sitting down in a chair. So they were all sitting down in chairs. And Tony Schiavone he had a cup of water in his hands. And so yeah, the cup of water will play into effect later on in this segment. And so Tony Schiavone he introduced both Brandi Rhodes and Shaquille O'Neal. And Brandi Rhodes she doesn't like how she introduced Shaq, about his accolades and everything. And Tony Schiavone he just introduced her as the chief brand officer. And and yeah, she was offended by that. And so Shaq he says that he watched Jade Cargill and her interaction with Cody Rhodes, and he is a fan of Jade Cargill. And Shaq said he did not appreciate what Jade Cargill did to Brandi's arm. And then Brandi Rhodes, she says that she didn't appreciate it either, and that she didn't deserve it. And she said that Cargill came into her house and came at her people and her family. And Brandi Rhodes says the next time she does it, she's gonna be all in Cargill's face again. And so Shaq, he mentioned how. So yeah, he mentioned how him and Cody Rhodes were going back and forth on Twitter. How he took a shot at Cody Rhodes, and Shaq he says that it was just me just messing around. I was just trying to be funny, and I was just having fun. And so Shaq he says that he loves the Rhodes family. He loves Cody Rhodes, Dustin Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes, their father. He loves the Rhodes family. And so Shaq he says that he can't wait. He can't wait to see a one-on-one between Brandi Rhodes and Jade Cargill. No thanks. No thanks. I don't think nobody want to see that. Mm-mm. I think Brandi Rhodes is better as a manager. She thrives better as a manager. And Jade Cargill, I don't know how far she is. I don't know if she's good or not. But right now, no, nobody want to see that. Nobody do not want to see that. And so yeah, right after this, we have Brandi. She leaves. She shakes Shaq's hand and Tony Schiavone's hand. And before she could leave, Shaq tells Brandi Rhodes something. He tells Brandi Rhodes he says while your arm is in the sling, I think you should watch Jade. You can probably get some pointers from her. And so Brandi was offended by that, and she was like, "Wait, is that a joke? That's a joke, right?" And Shaq said, "No, I'm serious." And so Brandi Rhodes is pissed. She grabbed the water. She grabbed the cup of water that Tony Schiavone was holding, and she just splashes the water into Shaq's face. She throws the water in Shaq's face, and she calls Shaq. She said that Shaq was an overgrown ass, and that was it. And so yeah, right after this, we had the ultimatum from the inner circle: Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Ortiz, Jake Hager, MJF, and Wardlow. And Santana was not there. Santana wasn't there. So yeah, first off, we had Chris Jericho. He speaks. He said, "This could be the last time you could ever see us together in the AEW ring." And the reason is last week I said we have 7 days to decide if we're going to continue to build the inner circle into the most powerful faction in pro wrestling history, or we disband forever. Jericho says because the that's been going on is not what he intended when he put together the group, and it's not what he wanted when he brought in MJF and Wardlow. Last week when we were in the ring pushing and shoving like a bunch of little petulant punks, it was embarrassing and sickening, and it will never happen again. Jericho says that we are not on the same page. Sammy doesn't like MJF. Wardlow doesn't like Jake Hager. Ortiz is sick and disgusted with all of us, and Santana is so pissed off. He didn't even show up for work this week. And so Jericho says that so do we move forward, or do we end this all tonight? And so Jericho tells the rest of the group if they have any grievances, air them out right now. Like, get them off your chest. And so MJF, he speaks, he gets the microphone, and he talks and says that he loves each and every single one of you like brothers. MJF says that he's starting to understand what's going on. He says that maybe I'm the issue, and I might know why. And so MJF, he says that he sees what people are writing on social media, and that people are thinking that he wanted to break up the inner circle and or take over the inner circle. And then MJF says maybe you guys are starting to believe the hype. And so MJF, he wanted to make something clear. He says, I chose to join this group. I chose to join this group. I wanted to join this group because I wanted to be a part of the greatest faction in all of professional wrestling. I wanted to create bonds that would never be broken. And so yeah, he turns his attention to Sammy Guevara, and he accuses Sammy Guevara of betraying the group when he had a towel. And so last week, and so Sammy, he was angry. He was mad at MJF, telling him to shut up, screw you, shut your damn mouth. And so yeah, Sammy was really heated at MJF. Like, he was really upset at MJF. And so Jericho, he tells MJF, we saw Dynamite. We saw it. We saw what you did. You had the towel and you were about to throw in the towel. And MJF, man, MJF, he tells Jericho that he swore on his life that he was sweating from his eyebrow. And so Ortiz, he interrupts all of this. He was like, hold up, time out. And he says that Santana made him realize something. And so Ortiz, he says that MJF is starting to grow on him like a fungus. And so Ortiz, he tells Sammy Guevara to shake MJF's hand. And And so Ortiz he tells Sammy Guevara that Chris chose him to be in this group. We didn't choose him. And so he tells Sammy, in life, you don't get to choose the hand that you're dealt. Together, we're the winning hand. And so yeah, he tells Sammy Guevara to be the better man. And this is a LOL moment. This is a LOL moment of this segment. Ortiz tells Sammy Guevara, "You're better than him, and you know it." And so MJF he took offense to that. He was like, "Whoa, wait a minute." And so yeah, MJF he laughed it off. And so Sammy Guevara he says that yeah he will shake his hand. And so Sammy he tells Jericho that he trusts him. He trusts him with everything. Yeah, you brought me into AEW. You put me in the inner circle, and so I trust you with this. And so Sammy he tells MJF and Jericho, if anything else happens in the inner circle, if anything else happened, I will quit the inner circle. And so right after that he shook his hand. He shook MJF's hand, and so Jericho he asks if everybody on the same page, everybody cool? And so Hager he grabs the microphone and he talks. He is like, "Yeah, I have a question." And he was like, "Why is this guy staring at me?" He's talking about Wardlow. "Why is this guy staring at me?" And so Wardlow grabs the microphone. I think this is the first time he ever spoke on a microphone. And so Wardlow he was like, "What? Staring at you? You've been staring at me this entire time since I started in AEW." And it's starting to creep me out. And so Jericho interrupts both Hager and Wardlow. He says, "Wait, calm down, calm down. How about we agree to not stare at each other?" And Hager he tells Jericho, I could stop staring. I could stop staring right now if I wanted to. And Wardlow he says, "So can I." And so they both stop staring at each other. They side stare at each other during the entire segment. And so Jericho he says that it's time to agree to the future. And then MJF he interrupts Jericho. And then MJF he says, "Speaking of the future," he said, "we have a great main event later on tonight, and I'm gonna beat the ever loving crap out of Orange Cassidy for beating my friend Chris Jericho twice." And then MJF, my God, man, this dude is a freaking prick. He said, which is hard to do. He said, "Beat Chris Jericho twice, which is hard to do. Trust me, I'll know." And Jericho interrupts MJF. He was like, "Max, like, dude, you're ruining it. You're ruining it." And so, like, MJF, he stepped back in line. And so Jericho says, if we're all agreeing to continue put together in, no, that ain't come out right. He says, Jericho, he says, if we're all agreeing to continue together as the inner circle, put it in, put the middle finger in. And so everybody, they put the middle finger in. And that was it. That was the end of the segment. I think this is the best segment. This is the best part of the show. Wardlow speaking for the first time, man. The interaction that he had with Jake Hager, I loved it. And anything involving the inner circle, MJF, Chris Jericho, man, it will always be comedy gold. And so yeah, that was it. So yeah, right after this we had Alex Marvez. He interviews FTR with Tully Blanchard. And so Alex Marvez he talks about the match, the FTR and YoungBucks match at Full Gear. And so Dash Wheeler, that's not his name. Cash Wheeler is his name. And so Cash Wheeler he blames himself for the loss. And then Tully Blanchard he says, you can't take full responsibility for that. And then Tully he said, I wasn't there. I was banned from ringside. So that means one member of the team was not there. And so Dax Harwood he says that they are the best tag team in the world on a planet. And then he says that their goal is to go after the AEW World Tag Team Championships. And that will forever be their goal. It's the AEW Tag Team Championships. And so Harwood, he tells Alex Marvez to fear the revelation. And that was it. So they're not done yet. They're not done yet with the Bucks and FTR. They're not done. So I need another match. I want another match between these two teams, but they might have to wait. So yeah, right after this we had Eddie Kingston, the Butcher, the Blade with the Bunny in their corner versus Lance Archer and the Lucha Bros with Jake the Snake Roberts in their corner. So this was a 6-man tag team match. This match was kind of quick. It felt like they rushed this match, and so yeah. So they were all making their entrance. We had Lance Archer. During his entrance, he dived into the ring onto the Butcher, Blade, and Eddie Kingston. And so yeah, everybody is fighting outside of the ring, chopping the hell out of each other, beating the hell out of each other. And we had the Butcher. He puts Pentagon through a table in the timekeepers area. And so the referees took Pentagon out. They took him out of the match. So it was basically a 3-on-2. And so we had a crossbody from the Butcher to Fenix. And we had the Bunny. The Bunny, she got involved in this match. She takes a cheap shot at Ray Fenix. And we had a springboard cutter to Eddie Kingston from Fenix. And we had a hot tag to Lance Archer. We had a full Nelson slam to the Blade. We had elbow splashes, corner elbow splashes on the corner to the Butcher and the Blade. We had a crossbody to the Butcher and the Blade from Lance Archer. We had Archer going for the old school, so shades of the Undertaker right here. And Eddie Kingston, he pushes Archer off the ropes. And so yeah, we had the Butcher and the Blade, they work on Archer's leg during a commercial break. And we had Jake the Snake Roberts. He gets involved in this match too. Since Allie got involved, Jake the Snake Roberts got involved. He didn't bring out the snake. He grabbed the Blade by his leg, so the Blade, he was running towards the rope, and Jake Roberts snatched him by the leg, and that was it. And so the Blade is distracted by this, and Lance Archer, he gives the Blade a German suplex, and we had a tope con hero to this was a nasty spot right here. Like Ray Phoenix could have seriously injured himself doing this move. So we had a tope con hero to Eddie Kingston from Ray Phoenix, and Ray Phoenix, man, he looked like he landed awkwardly, like he landed on the back of his head. It looked like. So yeah, that was a nasty bump. And we had a powerbomb neckbreaker combo from the Butcher and the Blade to Ray Phoenix to win. So Eddie Kingston, the Butcher, and the Blade, they win. And Lance Archer, he attacks Eddie Kingston and the family, the Butcher and the Blade. And so yeah, Archer, he tries to give the Blade his blackout finishing move, and the Butcher saves the Blade, and so they retreated. And yeah, that was it. And yeah, that was it. Whereas Pac, I don't know, because Pac is involved in this storyline. I don't know where is Pac, but yeah, that was it. And so right after this, we had Nyla Rose. They showed a video of Nyla Rose and Jade Cargill. Well, Jade Cargill attacking Red Velvet, Brandi's protege. And you had the baby faces trying to break it up. The baby faces fighting off the heels, were getting in each other's faces, and that was it. And so right after this, we had Abaddon versus Tisha Price, and this was nothing more than an enhancement match. So yeah, we had clotheslines to Price, corner punches to Price. We had at one point Tisha Price, she did get one attack in. She hits Abaddon with an elbow, so that was it. And it angers Abaddon. And so Abaddon, she unloads on Tisha Price, and she gives Tisha Price a Gory's neckbreaker for the win. So Abaddon wins. And right after the match, Abaddon, she continues to attack Price. And Hikaru Shida, she comes out with a kendo stick, and she hits Abaddon with the kendo stick. And Abaddon, she sat up like the Undertaker. And so Hikaru Shida and Tisha Price, they got the hell out of the ring. And that was it. And yeah, that was it. So Abaddon, it looks like Abaddon is the number one contender. or she. Well, I don't even know what the ranking system looking like, but I'm assuming she's the number one contender. So yeah, so it's gonna be Abaddon versus Hikaru Shida at a later date for the AEW Women's Championship. And right after this, we had Dasha Gonzalez. She interviews the Inner Circle, and so she asks Jericho, "Is the Inner Circle on the same page?" And Jericho says, "It's true. We're all on the same page. Did you see what just happened?" And Jericho, he says that they will join MJF and Wardlow at ringside for the main event. And Jericho says that we're gonna make sure that MJF beats that son of a bitch Orange Cassidy and retains the Dynamite Diamond Ring tonight. And he says MJF and the Inner Circle are gonna win for sure, and that's a guarantee. And so right after this, we had Kenny Omega. We had Kenny Omega and Don Callis. So first off, they came out in a helicopter. So you saw a helicopter flying over the arena, and it went down. The helicopter went down, and they got out of the helicopter. Both Kenny Omega and Don Callis. And oh yeah, we still had a long introduction from Justin Roberts and Kenny Omega with Don Callis. They come out to the ring, and they came out of the heel tunnel. So yeah, that signifies that he's a heel. So in like a Dynamite, you have the baby faces. I think the baby faces come out on this side, and the heels come out on this side. And Kenny Omega came out from the heel tunnel, so that signifies that Kenny Omega is a heel. And so yeah, they got into the ring. Tony Schiavone, he says that he was disgusted. Yeah, so yeah, Tony Schiavone, he was in the middle of the ring, and he says that he was disgusted at what happened last week between Kenny Omega and Don Callis. And so Callis says that, everybody was upset. And Tony Khan was upset. And he says that, Tony Khan, you're upset. You brought me in. And treated me like an honored guest. And it felt like you've been screwed. And he tells Khan, you're welcome. And welcome to the wrestling business, kid. And Callis, he says that the planning took years of planning. And he met Kenny when he was 10 years old. He talks about, Callis, he talks about the match Omega and Jericho had years ago at the Tokyo Dome, and says that without that match, there wouldn't be no AEW. And so he said the same thing on Impact. He said the same thing that he said on Impact. And he says that while everyone was saying that we stole this championship, you cannot steal what you created. And so he introduces Kenny Omega. And Kenny Omega, he takes the mic and he talks. And he talks about the planning that was plotted years ago and that they pulled it off successfully. And Omega says that the AEW championship is the most prestigious prize. And so Omega, he says that the plan that they pulled off last week was fine art and inspirational. And each and every single one of you felt for it. And whether you felt for it or not, I could care less. And so Omega, he takes off his shades, he takes off his sunshades, and he shows the black eye. He looks in the camera and he shows everyone his black eye from Jon Moxley. So yeah, he says that Moxley did this to him. And Omega says that Moxley is the real deal, but he doesn't have it up here. He doesn't have it up here in the head. And Omega says that when Callis came, that's when Callis came in. He says that Jon Moxley doesn't have it up here, but Omega does, and that's when Don Callis came in. And Omega says that he yes, he did use the microphone, but no one kicks out of the one-winged angel. And so Kenny, yeah, last night on Impact Wrestling, not last night, but on Tuesday, Kenny Omega, he promised a big announcement on Impact Wrestling. He promised a big announcement on Dynamite, and we didn't get it. We didn't get it on Dynamite. And so Callis cuts him off, and he says, "You know what, Kenny? They're not ready for it. And so Kenny Omega, he does his goodbye, mwah, and good night, bang, and that was it. We didn't get no big announcement. Everything that he said in this promo was the same thing that he said on Impact Wrestling. Was the same thing he said on Impact Wrestling. And so I don't understand that, man. You promised a big announcement on Wednesday and we didn't even get it. Maybe some people didn't watch it. Maybe some people didn't watch Impact Wrestling. That's why they did what they did. But man, come on, man. You even mentioned it. You even mentioned it in your promo that you was on Impact last night. I don't know, man. But yeah, I was disappointed. I was disappointed at this. We didn't get no big announcement. So yeah, that was it. And so yeah, right after this we had the main event for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. It was MJF with the Inner Circle on his side versus Orange Cassidy with the Best Friends in his corner. And so yeah, MJF he goes right after Orange Cassidy. And he breaks the sunshades, the sunglasses of Orange Cassidy. We had a suplex to Orange Cassidy. And we had at one point Orange Cassidy, he had his shirt off. So MJF, he chokes Orange Cassidy with his own shirt, or Orange Cassidy's own shirt. And we had a stunt. So MJF, he tries to go for another suplex, and then Orange Cassidy, he turns it into a stunt dog millionaire. And then we had an orange punch. So yeah, they fighting on a ring apron, and we had Orange Cassidy, he tries to go for his orange punch onto MJF. MJF moved out of the way, and he hit the ring post. So he orange punched the ring post. And so MJF, he powerbombs Orange Cassidy on the apron while Cassidy had his hands in his pocket. So he put Orange Cassidy's hands in his pocket and powerbombed him on the apron. And so we had MJF, he targets the fingers. And we had a flapjack to Orange Cassidy, followed up by a back elbow. We had the Inner Circle attacking Orange Cassidy outside of the ring. Referee didn't see it. And MJF, he continues to go after the fingers. And Jericho, he uses a baseball bat to jam Orange Cassidy's fingers behind the referee's back. And so yeah, during the commercial break, we had Trent and Chucky T, they go to the back and they round up some guys, some backup, some reinforcements to fight off the Inner Circle. And so you had the Inner Circle on one side of the ring, you had the other guys on the other side of the ring. So it's kind of like a lumberjack match. And so yeah, we had a tope suicida to MJF, follow up by a crossbody, follow up by a swinging DDT, follow up by a diving DDT. MJF, he kicks out of all of that. And then we had a roll up to MJF. MJF kicks out. We had a double underhook shoulder breaker to Cassidy. We had a tiger driver to Orange Cassidy. Cassidy kicks out. We had a springboard senton onto the Inner Circle from Orange Cassidy. And we had a heat seeker. To Orange Cassidy from MJF. MJF tries to use the ropes. He tries to grab the rope for more leverage on his pin. And the referee sees it. Referee sees his foot on the rope. And so yeah, Jericho, he threw MJF the bat, Floyd the bat. And so yeah, the referee's distracted. And MJF, he tries to pull off a Eddie Guerrero and pretend like he was hit by the weapon. And so Orange Cassidy, he outsmarted MJF. And Orange Cassidy, he gets on the ground, so he pulls off an Eddie Guerrero and lays on the ground and pretends like he got hit by a weapon. And so the referee turns around and he sees Orange Cassidy is knocked down, and he sees MJF holding the bat. And the referee did not disqualify MJF because you can't call what you didn't see. What JR said, you can't call what you didn't see. And so yeah, and then right after that we had a beach break. We had a beach break to MJF from Orange Cassidy. MJF kicks out. We had a Salt of the Earth. MJF submission move, the Salt of the Earth to Orange Cassidy. Cassidy, he fights out of it. And we had an orange punch. To MJF. Damn near fall. MJF kicks out. He almost had him. He almost had MJF right there. And so we had an orange punch. To MJF. Orange goes for the cover, and Wardlow puts MJF's foot on the bottom rope. And so everyone, everybody that was on Trent's side, the best friend's side, they fought off. They were fighting in the inner circle outside of the ring. And so, yeah, everybody is fighting. The referee is distracted. And then out of nowhere, we had Miro. He jumped into the ring and gave Orange Cassidy a clothesline. Clothesline this guy into oblivion. And MJF, Miro, he leaves the ring. And then MJF, he crawls. He crawls to Orange Cassidy and covers Orange Cassidy for the win. So MJF wins, and he is still the holder of the Dynamite Diamond Ring. And so after the match, everybody is still fighting. Everybody is still fighting. And, referees and security, they try to break it up. They try to break up the fight. They try to stop this from happening. And so Miro attacks the ref. Now, he didn't attack the referees. He attacked the security guards. He kicked one guy in the face, and he threw another guy off of the stage. And that was it. That was it. The end of Dynamite. That was the end of Dynamite. And overall, it was a good show. It was a stacked show. And next week is looking like a great show. Oh snap. Yeah, that's what I didn't get. I didn't get next week's card. But yeah, for what I know, next week is gonna be the 6-man tag team match between Matt Hardy and Private Party versus the Dark Order, Alex Reynolds and John Silver, with Adam Hangman Page, and we had the Acclaim versus SCU. And yeah, I think we had more matches too. So yeah. But yeah, anyway, that was it. That was the review for AEW Dynamite for December 9th, 2020. And yeah. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up. What are you waiting for? Hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel and become an awesome one. And comment down below and tell me how you felt. And thank you once again for the support. Thank you for the support. And yeah, man, that's it. And turn on that bell. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And that way, ladies and gentlemen, you'll know when my next video will come out. Now, if you missed my last week review on AEW Dynamite, video is right here. And right next to it is that subscribe. You'll see my emblem right here. Right here. Right here. You'll see either side. You'll see the video. You'll see my last week's video, and you'll see the subscribe button. You'll see my emblem. You click that emblem and click that subscribe button. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. Oh yeah, and once again, ladies and gentlemen, share this video. Share this video with everybody you come in contact with on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. And that's that.